We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use the box at sign up for 10 points. And here we go.
And welcome everybody to another edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct here on the Sports Box here on this Monday evening, the first Monday. I guess you can call it the Monday evening quarterback here after week one of the NFL season. Full slate of NFL action yesterday. I'm Paul Macrie alongside, as always, Big V, Mike Velardi. How you doing this evening, Big V?
What's up? Got a lot to talk about today. A lot of Phillies losses, a lot of Eagles bad loss.
Yeah, a lot of Phillies losses. You're right. That Phillies game just went final as we went on air. So we'll talk about that embarrassment, along with obviously a little bit about the Eagles and the rest of the week one slate yesterday. Monday Night Football this evening. We got the traditional opening Monday night doubleheader, starting with the Steelers and Giants here a little bit here at MetLife Stadium with no fans in the stands, and that was basically the case for every team but the Jacksonville Jaguars had fans yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. Was that Shad Khan or whatever his name is? These guys don't care.
Well, I think it's probably the city, and I guess maybe the state has something to do with it as well, I would assume. But
yeah.
Anyway, yep. So we got a lot to talk about, obviously, with the NFL. We'll get into the MLB with the playoffs. Obviously, the races, I should say, are heating up in this short season. Here we are, just a couple weeks to go in the regular season. And then also we'll get a little bit into the hockey playoffs with the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and along with the NBA as the conference finals are. There's a game 7 tonight with the Clippers, or somehow finding a way to not. I don't know how they lost yesterday. I saw when I was looking at my phone.
15 at the half.
Yeah, I was going to say they were up pretty big at the half, and somehow
Jokic took over.
Yep. So
he's actually been playing pretty good.
So the Nuggets have tied that series up and forced Game 7 this evening. So we'll talk about all that right now. But first, obviously, you want to get into the crowd play.
Yeah, sure.
We do that.
Check out our sponsors, CrowdPlay. It's a free to play app where sports fans answer live questions, win cash prizes. Go to getthecrowdplayapp.com and use the promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 points. I feel like Angelo Cataldi there. We've already got a comment from our green room.
Whatever he's considered now. I don't even know what he's considered now.
You're kind of the co-host with him. So
yeah. Wentz stinks.
Rolling for Hurts. Listen, I was kind of frustrated too at a time where I saw a stat today. He's 16-17 in his last 33 games. I mean,
he's basically a 500 quarterback. Yep.
It's a 500 quarterback. I mean, and you know what? He's been successful. He still has been a successful quarterback for the Eagles, but it's like, I don't even know. I don't even know where to start with with him and Ertz with the contract situation and dropping a ball on fourth down. Like, come on, man. I'm not saying that you're not going to get paid because you drop the fourth down catch, but what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, you look at how they played in that first quarter and a half. The jump out to that 17-0 lead. The first drive of the game looked very good. It seems like, once again, when you got Doug, when he scripts plays, those first 15 to 20 plays, things look great. Things look, well organized. They gave Wentz enough protection early on, really targeted Goddard and Ertz on that first drive, which I thought was the game plan yesterday, was just to target those tight ends. And Goddard looks really good. I mean, he was the lone bright spot yesterday, if you want to consider a bright spot. 8 catches, 101 yards, and that 34-yard touchdown catch. But, after it all kind of went haywire when, 3 or 4 minutes left in the first half, Wentz throws that interception where maybe, I'm not saying you're trying to coast into the locker room, but you're at the very least trying to, maybe run the ball on first down, maybe, get 4 or 5 yards on first down, chew up some clock, I think was more the Washington showed nothing in this game early on that they were moving the football or doing anything or showing any type of threat of doing anything offensively. And, they worked with short fields on all these turnovers and took advantage of every time it seemed like that they were able to force a turnover or get the Eagles in a couple of fourth downs that they went for yesterday that they got them on turnover on downs. So it was all short fields that the Redskins scored their points yesterday. So, yeah, it's just the momentum changed, and then they were never able to get it back, and that seemed to be what the final ended up being, yesterday.
Yeah, big fan of the show. Chris Tenta coming in with a comment here. Wentz is not the problem. Doug is the problem. Now, Doug at 17-0, I think he was overly aggressive, but he usually is. Still throwing the ball, in situations. Could have tried to run the ball more, run some clock out. But listen, I'm a huge Wentz guy, okay? But I am starting to go very, very, very low on him right now. My expectations for him are higher. Enough with the injuries now, and you got to start performing. You cannot hold on to the ball that long. I don't know if you watched the Saints game yesterday. Drew Brees had almost a similar situation, and he dunked it right to Kamara, right at his foot. He was sitting on the ground. Yeah. And he threw it right at his foot. You got to get rid of the ball. The reason why Jake Elliott missed that field goal was because he was 7 yards further back. Okay?
Yeah. And because he missed the field goal by about a yard and a half, 2 yards. Yeah.
That's a product of Wentz taking a sack when he didn't need to. I understand he wants to extend plays. Randall used to do it. McNabb used to do it. Right. We love that stuff. But there are ways to get rid of the ball. You have to get rid of the ball.
Well, I thought when he was still going full throttle was not the time to press like that.
Right.
As I said, 17-0 in a game where the Redskins showed nothing in the first, 25 minutes of the game or whatever. Yeah, 25, 27 minutes of the game showed nothing that indicated that they were going to, if they were not going to go on 75, 80-yard drives yesterday.
Right.
You could just tell that they don't have the type of offense that could do that. They are a very anemic offense.
My son's trying to pull my internet out.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Come on, Gio. We got a show to run here.
My Lord.
Anyway.
If the feed goes out, it's his fault.
But I think to focus now on the question or the comment, I do agree that Peterson did not have one of his better games yesterday. He certainly we love, I should say, when he is aggressive, when it calls for it.
Right.
They won the Super Bowl because of that aggressive nature and never letting off the gas against a Patriots team that you knew was going to keep coming, and they did. Mm-hmm. But yesterday was an entirely different story with the Redskins and that type of offense that doesn't have a lot of firepower at all, has a second-year quarterback that's still developing, and really one huge threat at receiver and Terry McLaurin, and a lot of other guys that you can't be scared of. They don't even. I mean, Logan Thomas is their tight end, and he used to be a quarterback. So they don't have a lot there. This was yesterday the kind of try to run it a little bit more, especially when you built that lead, and try to put Wentz in better situations and trying to just stretch the ball down the field. I thought the stuff to the tight ends were working. I think exploiting those matchups with the linebackers and the nickel corners. Continuing to do that. Was the plan yesterday. Now Ertz, I don't know what happened to him yesterday overall.
Yeah,
it seemed like his head was not in that game at all yesterday, other than the touchdown pass on that first drive. Other than that, he was non-existent yesterday. But Goddard, I don't think anybody on the Redskins could stop him if they kept trying to feed him the ball yesterday. He was targeted 9 times and caught the ball 8 times. So he played well, but Yeah, Peterson did not have one of his better games at all yesterday. I know they were shorthanded. Miles Sanders, if you have him, you can lean on Sanders more because, Boston Scott, who carried the ball 9 times yesterday, and Clement 6 times. I mean, Sanders was going to touch the ball 20 to 25 times yesterday if he was healthy.
Right.
So I understand not having him, created for possibly a different game plan that you knew you weren't going to be able to lean on those running backs yesterday.
I think the team was every time you looked up, somebody's going to the locker room. And, and listen,
right at that one point.
They were shorthanded on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Listen, these guys are in the NFL, okay? They have to be able to play. The backups have to be able to play. Now, you're not going to replace a Lane Johnson with an all-pro. You're not going to replace a Brandon Brooks with an all-pro. Jason Peters is old, all right? I mean, he did okay yesterday, but you can't rely on him to, keep pushing the offensive line. Kelsey, I don't think he played his best game yesterday, just from a lot of the stuff that I saw.
Some of it was wearing about on the right side, having a lot of inexperience on the right side, I think, as well. And right now at right guard, they do have, with Peters moving back to left tackle, they do have, regardless right now, their right guard is going to be inexperienced. That's not changing. Lane Johnson, obviously, if healthy, and then they're hoping him and Sanders are going to play this week against the Rams, that things are going to be different. But
Vinny Curry's out. He's definitely
that didn't look good. That looks like a serious hamstring injury, right?
He's out for a while, but possibly
Brandon Graham's in the concussion protocol. That didn't look good yesterday.
D. Gunn said he hasn't had any headaches or anything like that, so he might be fine. Brant Meeks says, "Let's go Washington." I don't know if he's trying to twist my arm here or
maybe he is a football team fan.
The defensive line of Washington will be very good in the end.
Well, that's been their bread and butter that's their strength.
Chase Young was blowing up some things yesterday. I love the hustle. They showed earlier in the game. He fished out a screen and he ran and tackled the guy who caught the ball from the defensive end. So that's what you want. Obviously, he's a number 2 pick in the draft. You want that. Yeah. But
they're not a very good football team, though.
No, they're not a good football team. And Dwayne Haskins is not very good. I mean, he's got McLaren. He's got a bunch of guys he can throw the ball to, which is nice.
A lot of inexperience at running back right now, too.
But Darius Slay played well.
Yeah, I mean, I figured Slay played well because you didn't hear much from him, meaning that they weren't going his way to target him.
And they beat Ronald Darby with Rager, and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, we've seen this movie before."
Right.
But I was listening to Doug's press conference on the way home from work today, and they asked him about Rager and Hightower, and he goes, "They were okay." He just gave him an okay. He's not going to say they were great. But Hightower dropped the ball too.
Once again,
Rager splitting defenses like that. His speed is going to be what they want from him. But I thought he played okay. Rager. It wasn't like he was terrible.
Well, once again, Arcega-Whiteside did not have a catch yesterday, and that's the concern right now.
Guy can't.
You heard some good things in camp that he looked a lot better, but here we go now that you're back into a real game situation. And I think he might have been targeted once or twice yesterday, but he's not on the stat sheet here.
Yeah.
So that's a concern because Jeffrey's going to be out for at least I think the first month here.
Yeah.
So right now what you have is Jackson. He's got to stay healthy. Obviously Rager and Hightower and Arcega-Whiteside are your 4 receivers, and Ertz and Goddard are your tight ends, and Miles Sanders is going to be used a lot when healthy. The offense is good enough outside the concerns with the offensive line still, and obviously with Wentz playing the way he did yesterday. If that continues, then obviously it's not going to matter anyway who your weapons are. But
and I thought yesterday, I was looking at local products. Sean Bradley played 8 plays, got in there a little bit, trying to. See what's going on with a couple. I mean, they were pretty banged up on defense too, coming in. Guys like Brandon Graham, guys like that were getting hurt, during the game. So you figure,
well, they were healthy at linebacker though.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I mean, he got in, he did his part, but
and they run a lot. They run a lot of 2 linebackers. So I mean, he's going to be in that 3rd, 4th linebacker mix probably.
And listen, I thought the DBs played well. Avonte Maddox was all over the place. LeBlanc was in there in nickel, and
they gave up a couple
of the corners. It wasn't like they were getting burned all over the field like usual.
No. I mean, they gave up a couple of key first downs. But no, as you said, no big plays for the most part yesterday. It was just all dealing with that short field, and that's really what happened. But we'll go away from the Eagles now and get to the rest of the NFL here. We'll go through the lineup of games quickly. We're not going to bore everybody with every single game.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Thursday night game was the Chiefs and Texans. The Chiefs, they Super Bowl defending Super Bowl champions. I mean, they look just as deadly offensively. I mean, nothing has changed. You have the rookie going in there, and he was tremendous. For them, and obviously everybody else that they had basically coming back. They're going to be tough to stop, and even defensively, they held the Texans and kept Deshaun Watson in check. And they scored a couple late touchdowns, and when you normally have those type of prevent situations when you build that type of lead, so that is what happened in that game. But then how about the Seahawks against the Falcons? The Seahawks scored 38 points on the road yesterday in Atlanta, and Wilson looks as good as ever.
Phew, man.
I mean, this is really – you got to figure they're going to be one of the top teams in the NFC if teams stay healthy. I mean, if this team stays healthy.
Absolutely. So, Seattle looked very good yesterday. I mean, just putting up points at will. I mean – and if their defense is anything of what they used to be, they're gonna be very hard to beat. I mean, the Eagles didn't need DK Metcalf. Nah, they didn't need to draft him.
4 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown.
Nah, they don't need a freak wide receiver. Nah, we don't need that. Let's go draft some crumb who gets cut.
And Tyler Lockett 8 for 92. I'm surprised he only had 84 rushing yards yesterday. Russell Wilson led the team in rushing with 29 yards, but. They were throwing the ball all over the place yesterday. And, Matt Ryan did throw for 450 yards yesterday. I know they trailed basically the entire game. And, I think in the second half they were doing a lot of, obviously, passing. I mean, he had 54 pass attempts yesterday. But, Julio Jones, 9 catches, 154. Calvin Ridley, 9 for 130. And even that Russell Gage, 9 for 114 for him. So, I mean, they had 3 guys over 100 yards receiving yesterday.
I mean, Matt Ryan it's like a Matthew Stafford. Let's just fire. We're losing. Let's just fire the ball up, throw for 400 yards a game, and our team still stinks.
It's the same situation though with them. Their defense is really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you figure that's a Dan Quinn who – was fighting for his job last year and was fortunate to keep it.
He's going to be fighting again in the next 3
years. I was going to say that. I mean, he could be one of the first to go if this continues. I know it's only game 1, but I don't think he has much wiggle room just based off of last year. So,
yeah, and I totally agree with that observation of that game. Seattle looks very good. Atlanta's always good offensively. We know that. But once their defense wasn't good the last 3-4 years, they're not a very good team.
And the Jets, how bad are they? Buffalo 27-17 win. I mean, it wasn't I think 10-point win, but I think it was even more lopsided than that yesterday. Josh Allen played tremendous. I mean, if you had him on your fantasy team, you got rewarded yesterday for a big game from him.
He played phenomenal.
312 yards, 2 touchdowns passing. He had a 1 rushing touchdown. I mean, that's the type of what he gives you as far as a dual threat quarterback. And Stefon Diggs in his debut with Buffalo, 8 catches for 86 yards for him yesterday. So Buffalo right now, I mean, New England did win yesterday too, but I mean, we know New England's not going to be as dominant as they were in years past, but Buffalo, this is their chance. This is their chance to win the division for the first time in a long time. So.
We've said that. Anybody, 17 straight years in New England won or something? The division? 16 straight years?
Well, Well, Miami won it in 2008, right? The year Brady tore his ACL and missed the entire season. Then,
right. And they still won those 10 games or 11 games.
They did make the playoffs, but Miami had the tiebreaker because I believe they beat them twice that year.
Got it.
So they swept the series, so that's what happened there. But yeah, the Jets. I didn't watch the game yesterday, but I just hear from some of the New York media people I follow. It's ugly there. Darnold does not look good at all. Le'Veon Bell got hurt yesterday, so I think he's out for a couple of weeks. It looks like perhaps.
I think 4 to 6. I saw.
Yeah, so that's Jamison Crowder was a lone bright spot for them yesterday. 7 catches for 115. Other than that, nobody did a thing yesterday for the Jets. So it looks like another. I mean, you figure you trade Jamal Adams, and obviously I understand Joe Douglas is trying to they do need to rebuild and really blow this thing up, and give him an opportunity to have another early pick this year and see where they can go. But it's going to be another painful season for the Jets fans, that's for sure. I mean, how about the Bears coming back to beat the Lions? They were Lions were up 23-6 in that game, and the Bears outscored them
21-0 in the fourth.
21-0 in the fourth quarter. So that's a bad loss for the Lions.
Trubisky will keep his job another week at least. With that, they were bad early
for sure. Yeah, I mean you're exactly right. If anything, you learn from that game is that Trubisky keeps his job for another week.
NFL update: 3-0 Giants. They got down to the goal line on 1st and goal at the 2 and apparently could not get in. So they kicked the field goal.
Well, I took Pittsburgh money line along with Denver money line later. So
there you go. Paul's trying
Pittsburgh was 6-point favorites in this game still tonight. I thought, they should be favored. I didn't think they should be favored by that much. But
hey, listen, Big Ben coming back. You never know.
Yeah, so here he is. He was stepping on the field there. But how about the Packers yesterday? 43 points. They gave up 34. A lot of late scoring yesterday for Minnesota, but it really wasn't even that close. Green Bay blew them out. And Rodgers might have played his best game in about 3 or 4 years yesterday. He had 4 touchdown passes. He had a
tremendous Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is sick. I mean, you got to just throw him the ball.
You got him, obviously, 14 catches, 156, and 2 touchdowns, 17 targets. But then you had Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who had a big game yesterday.
Video game numbers. That's video game numbers.
Yeah.
14 catches for come on.
Alan Lazard yesterday. He had 4 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. So that
I'm sure we have one happy Packer fan.
That was a very encouraging performance yesterday for them, considering last year at times that offense did not look that good. And the defense was the one that carried them a lot last year. But if they played like they did in game 1 yesterday against a division rival, Minnesota, they could be another potential contender in the NFC this year as well. And then you got obviously. We hinted on the New England side already. Cam Newton's debut. They beat the Miami Dolphins 21-11. Cam had 2 rushing touchdowns yesterday, 75 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. New England quarterback has never done that before. So
yeah, you think? Because the last 20 years hasn't even rushed for 30 yards in a game.
I think he struggled to run for 75 yards in a season.
Yeah.
So, that just puts in perspective the style of quarterback change that New England has now. Josh McDaniels.
I don't like the guy one bit, but you put him in a system finally where he has something to work with. He has a coach that's very good. He's got players around him. He doesn't have to do much.
They don't have a great offense around him, but it's good enough. It's good enough. Yeah,
it's an established offense. He's still got Edelman. He still has guys who are better than what he had in Carolina.
I don't think it's going to be a high-powered offense. I think it's going to be a lot of. I think you saw what their identity is going to kind of be this year. A lot of
ground and pound,
kind of a little bit of ground and pound, and lean on that defense as well. It's good enough probably in the division. I don't know how that projects against the Kansas Cities, the Baltimores, who are clearly the top two teams, I think, not only in the AFC, maybe the top two teams in the NFL right now.
Yep.
But, a good first game for Cam. I mean, you figured he's missed a lot of football over the last 2 years. So for him to play like that and get some confidence going into the rest of the season, I mean, that's a good sign for him. And then how about the Las Vegas Raiders in their first game as Las Vegas, but they go out to Carolina yesterday, and they put up 34 points yesterday on Carolina.
That was back and forth early. They were going back and forth.
They were.
And they came. Listen, Henry Ruggs had 3 or 4 catches, I think, for some nice catches in the beginning.
They spread the ball around a lot yesterday.
Josh Jacobs was the guy yesterday.
He had a big game. Yeah,
he had a big game.
3 rushing touchdowns, 93 yards on 25 carries. Even caught the ball 4 times for 46.
Well, we don't want him either.
They had 29 touches yesterday, so they leaned on him, and that's going to be kind of the theme of the entire season.
Oh, he was there. He was there when the Eagles picked. We don't want him either.
They took Dillard. I mean, they traded up to take Dillard.
What's that tell you?
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's unfortunate he got hurt, but I mean, they needed to go out. They needed another tackle. I mean,
they're saying that he didn't even look good in training camp, and that scares me.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I wanted Jacobs. I didn't want him in the first round. I'm one of those guys that, early second, mid-second round running back like a Dalvin Cook in 2017. That the Eagles. I know Minnesota anticipated that the Eagles probably wanted him. That's why they moved up, I think, to get him, and then the Eagles ended up settling for Sidney Jones, and we know how that turned out. But
they cut that whole draft. I think has been cut.
Except Derek Barnett, and he might be next.
Good.
So, but
we got a comment.
Good start for the Vegas Raiders.
Here's the comment of the year. We're going to keep hearing this one.
Yeah, I mean, that night when they did make that pick, obviously that was my reaction. Like, are we trying to help out Wentz for now and like for the next 3 or 4 years since you did sign him to
take his job,
to a large guaranteed contract, or do you not believe in him, or did you just go with you felt that Hurts was that much of a better player compared to anybody else on the board, and that's who you were going with? I mean, I don't know. At the time, there wasn't a ton there that I was really into. Denzel Mims, I wasn't a huge fan of, who went to the Jets then. I would have considered J.K. Dobbins, but once again, another running back. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
DeAndre Swift had a tough end of the game yesterday.
Did he? I didn't even see.
I think from what I heard was he dropped either the winning pass or something in the end zone towards the end of the game.
I didn't have red zone on at the time. I missed the whole end of game scenarios there. How about the Jaguars beating the Colts 27-20? So I know a very popular survivor pick yesterday in the Colts. Right off the bat, those people are eliminated as the Jaguars, who not many are seeing to win a ton this year, and I don't think that's going to change. But yesterday, with actually fans in the stands, they played well. Gardner Minshew did have 173 yards and 3 touchdowns yesterday, so a good day for him overall. And the Colts lose a big one in Marlon Mack, who's out for the season. The biggest injury, I think, yesterday with the Achilles injury. So that's it. So they're going to lean on the rookie Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines now as probably their 2 running backs moving forward. I did see they worked out Lamar Miller today. Everybody just wants a piece of Lamar Miller. He's been going around. I think he's tried out for 6 or 7 teams over the last 2 weeks. Devontae Freeman's still out there too.
Hey, listen.
I don't know what he wants.
Picked up now.
Yeah.
He's picked up now. So what's the I know we haven't gotten to Cleveland. Did we get to Cleveland?
No, we could go to them now. I mean, that was an embarrassing one.
Baker, as Chris Tenta put, Minshew over Baker. I mean, Baker is just absolutely horrendous right now. That team just can't seem to find a way to get out of its own way. With all the talent they have on offense, I mean, Kareem Hunt, what's his name, the starter?
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, Beckham. I mean, come on, Land. What are these guys? they can't figure out the offense?
I don't know. And here we go. Another head coach, another play caller for Baker
Going.
Mayfield, 3 in 3 years. Kevin Stefanski, the Vikings offensive coordinator, got hired in the offseason. And it's the same old. Nothing has changed. I guess you give him a pass, especially for some of these new head coaches because they didn't have a preseason to work off of.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit of a disadvantage. So I think we'll give him a pass for a couple weeks. Especially for these new head coaches in the league. But, yeah, I mean, it was very discouraging. And Baltimore looked like the same Baltimore yesterday. It was full throttle for them. Lamar Jackson picking up where he left off in his MVP level last year, had a big game. And, it's just right now Baltimore solidifying themselves again as one of the top teams in the AFC, if not the entire NFL. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to think about the Ravens. I mean, they're just that good right now. I mean,
the disappointing playoff loss against the Titans, which I still can't get over. But yeah, I mean, it happens.
The thing is, you have a guy, and I talked about this earlier. You have a running quarterback, you want to call him, but he's throwing the ball well too. Like he's putting himself in positions where, and Harbaugh's doing this with him. They're putting these guys in great positions to do well. I mean, we thought Lamar Jackson coming out of college couldn't throw a goddamn football for anything. Mm-hmm. All right, he looked terrible doing it. Oh, what's he just going to be runner? What's he just going to be running quarterback? He's proving to us. I mean, the tight end had a huge game yesterday. Andrews,
Mark Andrews, yeah.
So these guys are. Lamar Jackson is showing that he's good, if not as good as Patrick Mahomes is. He's that good right now.
Yeah, and how about that? Disappointing for Joe Burrow because he did everything he could to get the team down the field to tie the game against the Chargers yesterday late. And
bad for him because that's what the Bengals do all the time.
And then the kid was it Nugent?
No, I think it was Bullock, Randy Bullock.
Blew out. Looked like he blew out his.
I don't know what he did, but maybe
hamstring injury or something, or calf.
Maybe it was a calf. He was like, maybe, oh my God, I missed this. Let me do something to make sure I'm hurt.
Because he had it pretty straight still, and right, it had still the distance for somebody that hurt their leg. So it was still a heck of a kick for somebody that hurt their leg.
Oh yeah.
It was just he kicked it. It was you knew from the get-go that it had no chance.
That was a bad miss too. I mean, the Bengals.
He hit a 50-yarder earlier.
If AJ Green doesn't push off, they win that game because he pushed off the guy right in the corner of the end zone and caught the touchdown.
Yeah.
But it was the right call. He extended. I know we're moving to the Bucs game, but we have a question coming in from Kane Beal. Will Tom Brady ever be an elite quarterback again? Listen, he's 43 years old. Okay, we know that he probably is the best quarterback in the history of the NFL. Mm-hmm. Okay, but he's 43 years old. He's going to decline at some point. Yep. And all of the optimism and everything that came into this season, Gronk and Godwin and all these guys that they got, that was a shitty performance yesterday. I'll tell you that. New Orleans defense is not that good, I don't think. Unless they transform. The defensive line's good. But
they have pretty good defense, yeah. But still, like the pick six was very uncharacteristic of him. I mean,
if that's the case, New Orleans is going to be a player in the NFC this year, a big time player. Because if their offense is good and their defense is even better, Tampa Bay couldn't stop them yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's once again. I'm going to give him, and I'm just going to, that a pass in game one, not having a preseason. I know they spent a lot of time working with the receivers, and it seemed, but I think when you get in that game action, it's still different. Once again, there's going to be some growing pains, so I'm not surprised that they lost yesterday, and I'm not surprised that Brady had his struggles yesterday. They have a lot of talent, but don't forget they added these guys. This is a totally different, revamped offense altogether.
Yeah. So
there's going to be a lot of things like Fournette didn't play much yesterday. I mean, they got to ease him in. Gronk played for the first time in a year.
Yeah.
Didn't do much yesterday.
2 years. Wasn't he hurt that last season? He played, but he was hurt.
Well, yeah. I mean, it seems like he never played a 16-game season.
He looked good, though. He looked like he was in shape.
Yeah, yeah. There's no question about that. But, it's now, getting back to, running routes and catching balls in live action and getting hit. I don't think he was doing that in August and early September when they were practicing. So it's a different scenario. But, I mean, this is a Saints team that, it's not leaning on Breeze anymore as far, Breeze is almost like a game manager now.
Right.
They run some gadgets. They ran,
he didn't have a lot of yards. He didn't have a lot of yards yesterday.
No, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw the ball 30 times. I mean, that's the recipe for a win when he's not throwing the ball more than 30 to 35 times. They're running. They didn't run the ball that great yesterday. They had 34 attempts on 82 carries, 82 yards, excuse me. So they didn't. It's not like they, broke down the Tampa Bay defense as far as running into the ground, but they just took advantage. I mean, the pick six was huge. I mean, that was the big. You felt like that was the entire momentum changer yesterday in that game.
I actually haven't heard from Mike Galletta today at all. I was wondering, what do you think about that?
I haven't heard anything
about that Tampa Bay Bucks. He must have been so high for the game that it was a tough matchup, but
yeah, I mean, it's
Tom Brady performance.
It's not like they played the defending NFC South champions. I mean, these guys are. Saints are always into the conversation every year. They went to the NFC title game 2 years ago. They just find ways to lose disappointing playoff games every year.
Right.
So, but how about the Cardinals upsetting San Fran yesterday in San Fran?
That was a popular pick amongst a lot of people. A lot of people, not just because of DeAndre and listen, their offense is very good, and their defense has gotten a lot better. They're going to be okay.
I think they are. Cliff Kingsbury is showing that the NFL spotlight is not too big for him. I think his offensive play calling looked pretty sound yesterday. Kyler Murray is
how quick is
steadily, he's quick, steadily improving, and having now a veteran receiver like Hopkins in this offense, where Larry Fitz is towards the end of his career. Now Hopkins takes over as that Larry Fitz type here moving forward. And then you got Kenyon Drake in the backfield, Chase Edmonds as well. Yeah, they got a pretty solid team. I think they're going to be a lot better this year. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to be in that conversation to potentially push to a playoff spot this year. And, with San Fran, you have to wonder, you lose the Super Bowl the way they did in that fourth quarter. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's going to have to play a lot better, if they're going to take this next step and get over the hump and get back into that, Super Bowl conversation. I mean, I expect them to be a playoff team still this year. Don't get me wrong. But I do think they're going to need more from their quarterback moving forward. And then last night, the Rams in the Sunday night game beat the Dallas Cowboys 20-17. I know there was a controversial offensive pass interference late. Michael Gallup got called for it. That the Cowboys were driving late in that game, but Rams held on to win a defensive battle. Ended up being yesterday, which is kind of surprising. I thought there was going to be a lot more points scored in the game than there were. So
Rams looked. I watched a little bit of the first half. I thought they looked pretty decent. Not explosive offensively, but the Dallas defense is pretty good. I mean, I thought it was a very good game between both teams.
Well, I think you kind of saw what maybe they want to start doing a little bit more.
Chris Brent is fired up. He's fired up right now.
Yeah.
We allow expletives on our show, especially for
why not?
Yeah.
But the point I was going to make about the Rams was seeing a little bit now towards, I don't know if this is going to be the trend with this team, but 40 runs yesterday compared to 31 passes. Maybe not trying to lean as much on Jared Goff as they did last year, because Goff got exploited a bit last year and did not look as good as he did in 2018. So I think, giving the ball to Malcolm Brown, who had a big game last night. Cam Akers, I think, will steadily get the ball more as the rookie. But last night was Malcolm Brown, who led the team and led the backfield in touches. Their defense it should be good. With you have Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive players in all of football, and Jalen Ramsey as one of the shutdown corners in the NFL.
Well, Van Der Esch is out 4 to 6 for the Cowboys now.
Yeah, they had some big injuries.
Broke his collarbone.
Thanks for mentioning that. So, Van Der Esch is hurt, and then Blake Jarwin, the starting tight end, tore his ACL, so he's out for the year.
Well, did you hear that crazy Twitter rumor?
Yeah, saw. So stupid.
I would love. He's Notre Dame boy, man. I'd love that. Zach Martin for Zach Ertz, they're saying.
I would take that in a minute, but we know that those teams are never going to trade. So, never going to trade.
McNabb got traded to the Redskins, didn't he?
Yeah, I think the Eagles and the Redskins are a little bit different than the Eagles and the Cowboys, though. Still,
has there? What was the? We got to call Elias Sports Bureau and see the last time Dallas and the Eagles made a trade. Was it Vince Papale? No, I'm just kidding.
I honestly don't know, but that is
I'm gonna look at it. 3-3 Giants.
Yeah, kick the field goal.
Stink.
All right, we'll get now quickly into the other sports. Baseball. I mean, what can you say about obviously our team? The Phillies
are awful.
I mean, you can't be surprised that you knew this was the dreaded 7-game series that we're all talking about. How this was going to make or break potentially their season. And they lost 5 out of 7, capped off with losing the last 3 games of that series. They got swept in a doubleheader yesterday, lose today. Offense hasn't showed up the last 3 games. Now you have Hoskins, I just saw, went on the injured list officially, so he's hurt. And Real Muto still up in the air. He's missed the last 3 games now too. So
if Vince Velasquez still has a starting spot on this team, they're never going to win. They're never going to win.
Well, the problem is they need him because of these double headers. It's not like he would be in the rotation if not. Now Spencer Howard's hurt as well. I think they put him on the injured list yesterday. He's got a shoulder injury. They're just dropping like flies left and right.
Of course.
Along with the bullpen hasn't been good, period. Injuries or no injuries. So it's a bad combination. And now in a year where you thought that the Phillies were still going to be a playoff team because of the expanded playoff format, they might not even make the playoffs still.
And
they're 500 now.
And it's a letdown. You win 9 out of 10, and then you get swept by the Marlins.
Yeah, they won 10 out of 11, and then I think they lost 8 of their last 12 or something like that now.
Yeah, that can't happen.
Yeah, so they just completely went on the opposite side, and now they're back to 500, and now they begin a series with the Mets tomorrow night. Wheeler with his freak injury, they're hoping he could pitch in the series. I didn't see anything to give an indication whether or not he's going to pitch or not in the series. But right now, the Braves are going to, they're looking like they're going to run away with the division. The Marlins are 3 games back of the division, and the Marlins are now a full game and a half. They're a game and a half up now on the Phillies for second place. So it's things are going chaotic very quickly for the Phillies as so they lose today. You're looking like a year where the Dodgers are coasting, which is no surprise. I think we all thought that they were going to be the best team going into the playoffs, and that looks more and more like that's going to be the case. But the Padres are just as good this year, playing very well. They're a surefire playoff team now. In the Central, you have the Cubs, who look like they're going to hang on, but the Cardinals are vying for one of those last playoff spots. It looks like they're going to be battling with the Phillies for one of that last playoff spots. And then in the American League, how about the White Sox? How good they're playing this year? The Rays, the A's, the Yankees are struggling, but I think they're starting to pick it up now. They
ton of injuries too. Paxton.
Every year, it's Judge and Stanton get hurt. Well, you can book it every year.
You can't draft any of them guys, and I took Stanton this year again.
It's the same
thing. Judge was having an MVP year too.
Yeah, he was off to a very nice start, and it's just as soon as you get to the 20-game mark, those guys get hurt. It's the same old thing with them.
Done. So,
do we know how long is this a season-threatening thing? It's not a long season. It's not there's only about 10 to 15 games left in the season for all these teams.
Yep.
So, a playoff spot. I mean, I would still think they're going to get in, but the Rays right now, they look like they're going to win the division. Toronto hasn't played bad. I mean, the Toronto going to be in that playoff mix. The Yankees have won 5 in a row, but I know before that they were not playing well. But I mean, the White Sox and the Twins are going to be playoff teams, and the Indians are right there. One team that might not make the playoffs is the Houston Astros.
Yeah, well,
they're
good.
1 game below 500 right now.
Good, they deserve it.
And I don't. Yeah, as you said, given everything that happened to them over the last year, I don't think too many people are going to be feeling sad for them not making the playoffs. But could be what's happening. And now you're looking at. Well, the Phillies' playoff odds have now gone down to 76.3%. I think at one point it was 90%. So their odds are starting to dwindle a little bit. And now the Marlins have an 80.9% chance to make the playoffs.
Wow.
The friggin' Marlins. And, yeah, I mean, the Reds, I don't think the Reds are going to make the playoffs, or the Brewers.
And we had them win the division, the Reds. At least
the Reds were a very popular pick, but it goes to show you in a short season like this, if you start off slow, it had nothing to do with the Reds not being a good team. They just started off slow. Moustakis was terrible to start the season. I mean, I think even if they don't make the playoffs this year, I think they'll be right there next year.
Are Fowler and Herbstreit calling this game?
They are, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they decided because of obviously needing a second crew tonight, they gave them the opportunity. I mean, why not? They're the best college, so give the best college the pro game.
I'll take it.
They didn't do any game this past weekend. They didn't do the Clemson game.
By the way, Chase Claypool from
Notre Dame
just made a huge catch on the side. Well, I don't know. It was 8 minutes ago, but I'm catching up on some stuff right now. He's going to be good. A lot of teams passed on him.
I like the pick. It was a second-round pick, right?
Speaking of struggling, Notre Dame struggled, but we don't have to get to college football.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, you made sure to text me after Clemson literally went 3-and-out on their first drive. And they didn't even give it a full quarter.
No, first drive.
Notre Dame needed a whole half.
I know. Listen, Notre Dame's Notre Dame. They're playing the ACC for the first time. Relax.
Yeah, they should be fine.
To win by an average of 40 points.
Notre Dame was like 21-point favorites in that game.
Know.
They should have been fine.
That's the way they are, man.
Duke wasn't going to. Duke didn't look like they were going to do anything offensively anyway, so I didn't think that was a concern. But Notre Dame plays South Florida this week?
Oh.
Who do you think Clemson's playing this week? It's the old hidden joke. Nah, one of those type of teams.
Oh. Was it Southeast Missouri State?
No, Citadel.
Oh,
the Citadel every year.
South Florida.
Huh?
They just played South Florida, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
What a joke.
Clemson, well, they needed another game, and nobody else, I guess, won the playoffs. So
listen, your boy for Duke played well.
Chase Bryce, you thought he played well? I didn't think he played that good.
Well, but what I'm saying is he'll keep that Duke team in games. I don't think he's terrible. I mean, he's not Daniel Jones, but
no, he's not Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I predicted Iowa State was going to lose that game too, and they lost.
Louisiana Lafayette,
yeah. They said the Raging Cajuns had a huge offensive push. They had like 10 returning starters.
Yeah.
So
it's a little bit weird though at college because you don't have the Big Ten and Pac-12 playing. It's like, and the SEC's not starting till next week. So it's just. It was good to see college football back, but it's like it's not all the way back because it's not all the teams, and it was, I don't know, but it to get back. Are we done with baseball? No, did we pretty much finalize that? Because the Phillies thing, I could talk about that for a while. I'm bitch and complain and moan, but
it's all right. Yeah. Anything else we want to discuss?
Well, how about the hockey with the Islanders on the brink?
Of what?
The Islanders are on the brink. So what's your thought? It's 3-1 going into tomorrow night, right?
I'll tell you what, Dallas has been playing really well against Vegas.
Yeah, they can wrap up that series tonight.
For what I've been watching, I mean, I have since the Flyers lost, I haven't really paid much attention. But
me neither. Yeah.
When I wake up in the morning, I check it out and see what's going on.
It's weird that hockey's being played while football's underway. It's kind of like what?
Yeah.
And basketball, but yeah.
Go Denver Nuggets.
Well, what's your thoughts on Denver and Clippers tonight, Game 7, and then the Heat and the Celtics Game 1 is just started, I believe, or it's about an hour in. I think now they were like a 6:30 start tonight.
Wait, they're only in Game 1
of the Eastern Conference Finals.
So you have who's on the other side? The Lakers and.
Well, the Lakers are waiting for the winner of the Clippers and Nuggets.
Okay. Okay. I didn't think that they were going to start the next round until both sides were in.
Oh, I apologize. There's no games tonight. I'm sorry. The 2 games are tomorrow night. The Heat and Celtics are tomorrow night, 6:40, the Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And then Nuggets and Clippers, Game 7 of the semifinal for the right to play the Lakers will be tomorrow night at 9. So there's actually no game tonight. And
couple questions coming in. Let's rapid fire this one. NFL draft coming up quickly. Who do you guys think goes number 1? Some piece of shit. 76ers next year.
Wait. Hold on. NFL draft coming up quickly. No, it's not.
NHL draft.
NHL draft.
Some piece of shit the Rangers are going to get, and I hope he tears his ACL.
The draft got moved up now a couple days. I'm happy for it. So.
John Suggs says 76ers next head coach. Are you talking about who I prefer, or who do I think is going to get drafted? Or who do I think they're going to?
I think they're going to settle for Ty Lue, but I prefer obviously Billy Donovan. But
I mean, we're hoping for Billy Donovan.
Mike D'Antoni's in the mix now too. So
listen, Ty Lue. It's been about a week or two so far, and they haven't pulled the trigger yet. So they're patiently waiting this out. They're not making a rational decision here. Maybe they should fire Elton Brand first, then go from there.
We know that's not going to happen, though. So, yeah, John Suggs saying Nate McMillan. I say no to that. Looks like Sam Cassell now is in the mix for the Rockets now that the Rockets has opened up because D'Antoni decided to not come back. So
Buck Ugly, Sam Cassell?
Yeah.
Buck Ugly.
So that is that. But yeah, I prefer Billy Donovan, but I think Billy Donovan is going to end up going to the Bulls.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because, Chicago's a team rebuilding, got a couple good young players already. He's used to that kind of, building a program type thing. So I would think that would be a good fit for him. I think a better fit than the Sixers, to be honest with you. Mike D'Antoni is like –
that's what they're saying.
Is like the guy that – but the Sixers are going to need shooters. If they're going to run D'Antoni's system and shoot 53s a game, then they better get some shooters.
Then go get somebody.
Yeah. Well, they don't have cap space, but good luck.
Of course not. And the Phillies didn't want to go over the luxury tax either. Look what that did to them.
The Giants just scored a touchdown.
Yep. Apparently.
Darius Slayton, 41 yards.
Before we go, let's give a shout out to our crowd play sponsors. Check out this video for the crowd play ad. That is Crowd Play. That is our sponsor for the Unsportsmanlike Conduct show and our Sports Box shows. So check that app out and give it a like.
All right. Well, that is about it for this evening here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct here. Good show this evening. We will see you again next Monday night, obviously to go over the week 2 slate of games and also continue with some obviously the Major League Baseball as the postseason push continues, along with the progression of the NBA and NHL playoffs as conference finals action will continue there.
Real quick, John did say that Steve Cohen looks like he's going to buy the Mets.
I saw that, yeah.
Billionaire Steve Cohen. I'm sure he doesn't have a problem purchasing the Mets. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I hope they suck for the next 20 years. So whatever.
Probably not. They'll sign JT Realmuto now.
Oh yeah, true.
This offseason.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If they do let go of Real Muto, that'll be one of the worst trades in signing/trades in MLB history.
Well, you can give Matt Klentak his one-way ticket out of town too.
Oh, so. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. If they don't make the playoffs, he's done anyway. So that'll be his ticket out.
Now, do we have teeing off tonight here? Or the U.S. Open is this week.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
I didn't inquire about the schedule, and some reason I never do.
If our producer wants to come on and talk, he can.
But I figured this week with the U.S. Open at Winged Foot, they might want to talk about golf. But
who's your pick for that?
I mean, Justin Johnson's the favorite, but I don't think it's going to be him.
Is it a longer course, Winged Foot? For the longer hitters, I mean?
All I heard was the rough is insane.
We'll have to listen to our teeing off, guys. I know Dave Cartwright has some good predictions he's made over the last 3 weeks.
It's going to be similar to what the BMW championship scores were like 3 weeks ago, where there was, what was it, 1-2 under par?
No teeing off tonight. We didn't want to go against football, 2 Monday Night Football games.
Got it.
It's going to be a weekly issue. We're trying to see if we could slot the golf show in another night. So we're working on some scheduling conflicts.
Well, we're going to go up against Monday Night. Well, nah. Well, this was the only 7 o'clock game because of the doubleheader.
Well, we don't go up against Monday Night Football. The people watch us. They don't watch Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
They want to watch Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Of course.
But guess what is coming back this week on Wednesday night? The Green Room.
Oh, yeah?
I heard a little birdie told me.
Yeah.
Chris Wilhelm with special guest host maybe for a while, Paul Macrie.
Yep, me. So we'll have a lot more to talk about. Willie's going to be nasty. And
you've been trying to come on that show for 4 years now.
His normal self. He's going to be. It's going to be quite. It's going to be a lot of. It's going to be a lot of fun. 8:30 on Wednesday night, Green Room, and then also we have. Is it Baseline Jumper on this as well? With yeah. So Paulie Scoops,
Quig,
along with Tony Quigley, they'll be on, and then we have
Total Degenerates, Ben.
Yeah, the Total Degenerates, they should be on this week talking about betting, but who knows?
Talking about betting.
Talking about the world of betting and fading picks and all the good stuff that, we like to do when they come on the show, especially when Hess is the one making those picks. So, So everybody enjoy their weeks ahead, the week ahead, I should say, and look out for the Sports Box. Got a lot of good shows lined up for this week. We mentioned, the debut show this week of. Well, you also have the Gen and Highly Opinionated tomorrow night. So that's tomorrow night's lineup. And then the Green Room debut on Wednesday, and then much more. So stay tuned to all of that. Thanks for everybody that contributed.
Real quick, what's the over-under? What's the over-under on how many Green Room episodes we actually have this year?
1.5.
Yeah. I think after the first week, if they go on a 4-game losing streak, it's going to be over with. Green Room will just totally disintegrate.
Well, we'll see where we go. One step at a time, one show at a time for sure. But thanks for everybody that contributed and chimed in this evening and tuned in here to Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I'm Paul Macrie once again with Mike Velardi. We will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you for watching the Sports Box. Follow us on Facebook at Sports Box Show. Twitter at SportsBox Show, Instagram at The SportsBox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 points. See you next time.